Welcome to SORMAG's Writers Cafe, where we share the real writer's life over a cup of friendship, sprinkled with laughter and wisdom. My name is LaShonda Hoffman, and I'm your host. This episode is sponsored by SORMAG Digital. Have you downloaded SORMAG Digital? The cover author is Suzette Harrison. In this issue, we also feature MC Walker, Karen Seward, BJ Williams, Tracy Lydia Garner, and Martha Kennerson. Don't miss this issue. It's available in digital or print. Check the show notes for the link. Today, our podcast topic is Turn Your Book into a Course. Our guests are Takima Howze and Julia A. Royston. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being my guest today. We'll start with Takima. Please tell us about you and your books and how you turn them into courses.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, LaShonda, for having me. Julie, it's a pleasure to be on with you as well. My name is Takima Howze, and I am...
Takima, sorry to interrupt you, but can you speak up just a little bit? You're really low.
Okay. Let me clear my throat. Okay. So my name is Takima Howze, and I am the author of The Pursuit of Self, Discovering Who You Are in the Midst of Chaos, and The Brave Life, What to Do When Life Knocks the Faith Out of You. And those are the two books that I have. I have two more books coming at the end of this year that I'm really, really excited about. So turning my books into workshops or courses was fairly for me, I would say, because I came from a background of doing workshops with people, and I created the workshops from scratch. So I'm very, very knowledgeable of how to create a workshop and how to take a topic and break it down and teach it. So when I wrote the books, I pretty much had the content already laid out for me. I just took out what specific things I wanted to talk more about and just expanded on them. So in doing that, I was able to talk to different people in high school. So I went to several classes, and I was a guest speaker at some of the classes because the teachers knew about my book, and they wanted me to come speak to their class. So as a result of that, there was a time when one of the teachers that I did the presentation with, his class actually did a whole lesson on one of the chapters on self-esteem, and that blew me away. And so one of the students tagged me in a picture, and she said, "We're learning about self-esteem from author Takima Howze." I was like, "Whoa, this is major!" So from there, I said, you know what, I'm definitely going to take more time and kind of expand on a lot of the topics that I have and turn those into workshops. It's pretty easy, but you have to be committed to it, and you have to have a love for teaching, because it's one thing to write a book and author a book. It's another thing to actually teach the content. So that is how I did it. And I've also created workshops on my own that I teach outside of the school, and I'm creating more now that I have the free time to do so. So that's basically how I did it from my perspective.
Thank you, Takima. You ready, Julia?
Yes, ma'am. Here I am.
So tell us a little bit. Are you going to go ahead?
Sure. I'm Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing and Julia Royston Enterprises. And I have been a book publisher for 9.5 years. But prior to that, I've been a teacher. This will be my 22nd better educator. My father was a teacher, a retired teacher before me, and then my sister's also a teacher. So really teaching is just something that we just do naturally. And having the ability to basically give your client what they need, answer their questions, solve their problems, is what I seek to do for my clients. And my courses have developed twofold. One, from my clients' needs, and secondly, from the books that I write. So I write in various genres, from fiction to nonfiction, self-help to participating in anthologies, business books, just a wide range of variety of material. And so, therefore, it's a quite natural leading to make sure that as a business owner that you provide the clients with what they need. Provide them with the information that they want because you're in business to be profitable. So to being able to have people that have questions and have problems to be able to answer them is critical to my business as well as publishing and meeting that need. But after that, authors have other needs that need to be met on how to promote their work, what publishing options, the other products and services that can be created. So therefore, my courses come out of the needs of my clients. So that really lends itself to not only workshops, retreats, conferences, teleseminars, webinars. So that it creates that, and once I have those events, I have recordings from it. So therefore, I'm repurpose my content into audio, videos, and just it really stems out of the needs of my clients. And I really encourage those of you who want to sell courses and workshops and conferences, ask your clients what they want. Ask people that you want to service what they need and what they want, and then it'll be easy to sell a course out of it.
Okay, before we go on, I'm going to ask Takima. You're listening to Julia. Can you hear her? Because it sounds like she's really warbled, and I'm just wondering if it's just my phone or is that the way it's coming through?
I could hear her a little bit. It kind of went in and out.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And both of y'all are doing that, so I don't know if you're on speaker. If you're on speaker, you might want to.
No, I'm not on speaker.
No, I'm not actually. And I know where I'm at. The house that I'm in, if the service is really choppy. So I'm trying to stay where I know the service is really good.
I'm just
I'm
wondering,
not on speaker.
The internet acting crazy? What in the world? Okay, all right.
Well, it has gone down. It's known to go.
Okay. All right. Hopefully, I was going to say, talk a little louder. Maybe that might come through a little more.
Okay.
So my first question would be, because you both are very experienced in this, is what mistakes do you see writers do when they try to turn their book into a course?
Well, Julia, if you want to go first, you're more than welcome. But
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, one of the things I can definitely say that I think what the first thing that writers do is that they try to tackle every single topic in their book. Don't do that, because you can take 2 to 3 main overarching things that your book is really centered on and turn that into the workshop. You don't want to have because what you'll end up doing is you'll basically have an audio version of what your book is about. You don't want to do that. Don't use all the content. Don't do that. You could take specific things and talk about and then expand on those things, like really dig deep, because at the end of the day, it's almost like seeing a movie, reading a book, and then watching the movie. You're like, oh, the book was better. You know what I mean? You don't want people feeling like, I didn't even need to come to this because I could have just read her book. This is what it's about. You know what I mean? You want to give people a sense of, you have a really good knowledge on the things that you talk about, but you can take them deeper, and that's something that I would definitely say. Don't use all the content. Like, choose, the 3 best things that can encompass everything your book is about and really dig deep in those areas.
I totally agree. And then even one of the things that I also tell authors is, one thing, don't include everything in the book. Make sure there is something left for you to say. There's some reason, I want to know more, that they have to come back to you. And then, of course, it goes back to the beginning, something as a publisher that I'm striving to do more and more and more. And I know this is kind of the reverse, and I apologize if those of you who have I've already written the book. Why didn't I come to you first, Julia? You could have told me that. But really thinking about what your strengths are and what your clients' needs are, even before you write the book. If you have a passion for it, if you have an interest in that topic, to be able to delve deeper in it, then that makes the course, and then it'll also attract people to you more and more. It would be like people I writing a book on being an astronaut, and I think people were going to come to me and learn about being an astronaut. That's not my vein. That's not my lane. So, when people come to me and ask me about writing and publishing and anything related to that, then I'm your girl. And I say that in my emails. I'm your girl. But I'm not your girl when it comes to science or something else. So make sure that what you're writing about, one, you are knowledgeable about, two, that you have a passion for, and three, you're in an audience and an environment that people actually say, I look to you for that information, and they actually want the information you have. And putting everything in the book, it's like she just said, I don't need you because I've already read everything in the book. So making sure that either you make sure that people have to come back to you hungry for more of what you said and introduced in the book, or if you've already poured your heart out into the book, that you pick the most important things out, the one or two or three takeaways that you really want them to know, and delve deeper and take it to the next level. Because you always, for a course, you want people to have the ability to come back to you. That book is just an accompaniment for what you already know and the expertise that you already have.
Those are some good tips. I'm looking at stuff that I've done. I'm like, man, they're right. You have to focus on one thing and do it well. Thank you. So what advice would you give someone who has this book, they want to create a course? Where do they start?
Well, I would start, I'm going to go ahead. I would start with the actual problem that the book addresses, and actually the being able to break down the steps, step by step, that the book addresses. So I've written a series, write that book now, publish that book now, and promote that book now. Each one of those books is a course, but I don't read from the course. That is just like a textbook or a guide. But I start step by step, walking the person through some of the things that I address, but I delve it even more because I feel like each book is a child, is an individual. It's got individual characteristics. So my book can't delve into every single solitary person's book that I would possibly come across. So therefore, I go through the steps, the major steps that I want to include so that the person comes away with a rough draft. So first off, start with the basic problem, the overall basic problem. And then secondly, break that one problem down into the easy step-by-step. You're going to do this first, you're going to do that next, and you're going to do that next. Make sure that you've interviewed the actual client and the person that you want to serve so that you know exactly what their problem is and what their issue is. But you should have the main problem, the issue. My main problem, my issue is someone wants to write a book. Someone needs to get their rough draft done, and we need to break it down step by step to be able to get that done. And that's the problem that I'm striving to solve with my book. Somebody else's book might be trying to solve another problem. But get the problem and break it down into steps. Not necessarily the steps that could be included in the book, but break them down step by step. Do this first, next, and so on.
Takima, you want to add to that?
Well, I think Julia definitely took that, and I second everything she said. I think, with a lot of people, I think that they want to solve every problem they can. And I think we focus on the biggest problem and then break it down into smaller bites for people, that gets people in and say, okay, now I feel like I've gotten more. And it keeps them coming back to me. So, I don't think I need to say anything else. I think Julia really answered that question really well.
She did. Here's my issue when dealing with courses is, what advice do you have on pricing your course?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think with pricing, this is how I kind of come up with pricing, and I've gotten a lot of help with this. You think about the time that you you have spent putting together the course, like the actual, like, modules, everything. And then you think about the result that the people are going to get afterwards. Like, what are they going to be able to do after they have taken your course? Once you really understood what that entails and that whole process, it helps you to price it appropriately. I personally don't subscribe to the idea of charging your worth because my worth is priceless. That's what you died for. I'm sorry. That's just how I think. But I do believe in charging the value of something. And if I know I put X amount of time into doing something, and I believe that if this person is going to come away with after being, after taking my course, and they're going to be able to produce a book and duplicate what I've taught them, then I can price it in a way that feels like it's valuable enough to price that. So for a course where I'm based on my book, and then you have to also think about what are they getting. So are you going to give them the book with your course? Are you giving them the book and they have a workbook to go with the course? You think about all the elements of what they're tangibly getting. So if somebody walks away with your course, all the information, valuable information you've given them, they're walking away with your book so they can have a reference point. They also have a workbook that they're working from while being a part of your course. That's 3 tangible things that they have, plus the valuable information that they have. So now they have the tools to go further. I would say something like that would be $200 and up, because you literally put all of your time and effort into something, and they're getting something that you produced on your own, a full book and a workbook. That's not, it's not easy to make or create, and I know because I create workbooks for authors who've written books or have programs, and they're like, you know what, that takes too much time. I need someone else to do it. I'm fine with that. So it takes time. So, that's how I figure out my pricing.
I totally agree. It just all depends on the end result. And I like creating books that go along with my courses because there is a reference and there is, quote, unquote, a textbook. You also have to consider whether you're walking them through yourself or is there an, quote, unquote, on demand. Can they just get everything and do it on their own? So that's a one pricing, or they just, and getting all the materials. I find that some people don't necessarily want to come to an actual class, or even if it's online, even if it's virtual. We got to meet every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm moving to kind of the best of both worlds. One is if you want to meet in a group setting, group coaching session, or do you want to have the ability to be on demand and work learn when you want to, and then either ask me questions or refer to me, or a mixture of both. We have a 10-week or 8-week boot camp, and then we meet twice, and then we just for Q&A. You still have all the content, all the curriculum, everything that came in the course. You've got that. So there's kind of a small, medium, or a small, medium, and large, and it just all depends on exactly what they're getting. What is it including, and how much of you is necessary? How much time are they getting you with this, or are they getting just your materials and they're working independently? That's definitely a different set of circumstances, and it has to be priced differently. Some people feel like, that they are going to charge their worth, and they're going to take it there. And if you want it, you're going to pay it. And then some look a little bit more reasonable. And believe you me, though, if you charge too low, they may not do it as well. So they may not accept it because it was just that price is just too low. I don't believe them. So it may not even be worth the low price. So that pricing issue I've learned to to develop it over time. Even my husband is like, okay, double that price. That's too low for what you're offering or what you're doing. So sometimes I have to ask others and then compare what I'm giving to what somebody else is giving, because the pricing can be a little sticky. But I'm with you. If you're getting all the materials, everything, that could be a $200 and up. Now, if it's a class, it may be a $49 a week class. Could be a $99 a week class. It just all depends on what's actually transpiring and what's actually happening in your course as you deliver it. And the delivery method means is different too. Are you teaching when they meet, or we just having a Q&A? So, it just has, you have to really consider that through all of the pricing. Now, I will add this. I'm sorry. I will add this. The classes that I teach or have taught for $25 a week, people watch the replays, show up sometimes. But I tell you, the $69 and up classes that I charge, they show up. So think about the investment that people are making. When they're making that type of investment, they participate and they show up. A least amount of pricing is not better. Low cost is not always better.
Right, because people will deem it as cheap. And let me tell you something. If $60 is leaving my pocket, trust me, I will be there. I will be talking. I will be maybe talking over people. I'm getting my money worth. You know what I mean? So that makes total sense. It does.
And I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm thinking about the different things that I've priced and the people that did show up and the people that didn't show up, and I'm thinking, and you're right, the more it is, the more people will show up for it.
Well, I had to think, too, that Your Book Now class that I teach, you can start your own company and make thousands of dollars based on what I'm teaching you there. So that's not a $25 a week thing. That's not that. And, so to publish that book now, sure, you have the book with it. You have me showing you through it, somebody who's been doing it for nearly 10 years, 130-plus books and 60 authors. Oh, you've got an expert on your hands who can walk you through developing your own company to make your own thousands of dollars. That's not a $25 a week deal. No, that's not. That's not that kind of party. So you really have to consider. And it took me a long time to even think about doing that class or writing that book. Because I'm like, I'm giving my experience away, but really I'm not, because you're going to have to come back to me one way or the other as a mentor or whatever, because when you start, you're going to have questions, you're going to have problems, you're going to have situations that you're going to have to come back and refer to me one way or the other. Then that gets into coaching as well as courses. So, it's totally another avenue,
And I'm learning that that's what you want with your courses. You want them to say, well, what's next?
Exactly.
And I'm learning that too. So you have to know what's next, and you have to put that in your plan, because sometimes they're ready for next, and you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting next.
Well, that's another thing too is, right. And another thing too is that, you have to be sometimes in creation immediate mode, because sometimes planning is great, and I'm a big planner. But sometimes you don't plan, and you don't want to leave money on the table. So I've written an ebook in 2 weeks. I've done the audios and videos for the class in 2 weeks and had it all out there and ready for a conference. I've had to do that because you have to be in creation mode to keep up with your clients and keep up with the advancement and the problems that they have and the questions that they have. So, it does. You have to do that.
That's good. That's true. So where do you recommend to host these classes, online or offline? How do you host your classes?
Well, my classes, I utilize Zoom, and so I'm able to actually have the class. And the beauty of Zoom is that it allows you to, when you're done, you press the end meeting, and it's already a video and audio there. So you don't have to split up anything. It's already ended for you. And then, of course, you can repurpose that content in any way you want to, sell it as an audio, sell it as a video, or put it together as a course. So that is one platform that I really utilize, and I really advocate to be very serious about it. And then from there, then I use my email marketing tool to continue to market to my list and of course social media. But I'm also, able to really continue that part. Now I am August 1st, going to be starting a academy where people can get all my courses, and it'll basically be the on-demand, as they say, the Netflix or Hulu of my writing courses. So it can be just on-demand. You can click there and just go and do the courses on your own, and then have a platform to ask me questions and me respond to any help you need later. But I find that some people want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and work on it. They don't want to have to meet me at Thursday class at 8 o'clock. They want to be able to do on their own. So, and that's a new generation that we're on. We're independent learning. So we have to be able to meet all those needs. So those are the major platforms I utilize to be able to deliver to my clients. But that next level is really the on-demand situation. I want to have both, and physical, because I still develop CDs and DVDs and sell the physical. Some people still want to flip through the book. They still want to listen to it on a CD. They still want to have that ability, as well as download them, so I've got to make sure that I have all the platforms and all the formats so people can get it how they want it and pay for it.
That's great.
Well,
you did all the platforms.
Yes. So for me, I am definitely a in-person girl. I like doing live workshops, so I do a lot of things in the city. I have a place where I go physically in New York, and I host writing workshops there. But I'm definitely learning more of how to do them online. So I do Facebook Live because I'm comfortable with that, and Periscope. I haven't done official courses yet because I'm learning how to use the platforms online. Like I said, I'm used to going to schools and doing workshops, going to organizations. Like, I'm definitely a person-to-person kind of workshop facilitator and course facilitator. But I'm learning how to use the online platform. So, like I said, Periscope, Facebook Live, and I just started to play around with Teachable. So I'm learning how that platform is going to work for what I'm doing right now. I'm creating something right now which is really, really amazing that I actually love, that I'm actually going to be putting it out there. So that's going to be my first online platform of doing a course, so building my courses online. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm playing around with Teachable and Course Creator or something like that. I think it's called Course Creator or something like that. Someone did recommend Zoom, so I'm going to add that to try to figure out which one fits me best. I've been on Zoom courses, and I actually like it because you can see the person, you can see the other people that's there, so it kind of makes you feel like you still have that person-to-person feel. So I'm going to still, I'm going to check out Zoom and see how that works for me as well. So, but that's the platform I use for right now. Virtually, it's Facebook Live and, Periscope, but I'm definitely an in-person girl. So I go to different places and do my workshops and teach my courses. So.
All right. I actually utilize Start Meeting. I've been using that for a while to do just telephone courses. I just found out that that you can do video with them. I did a video the other day. And so I was like, okay, because I had been looking at going to Zoom because I really like Zoom's platform. I use that for a mastermind that I'm in. And but I'm like, if I'm using Start Meeting and they can do video, I'm going to do some video too. So it's good to have a platform that you're comfortable in and that your students are comfortable in too. That helps a lot. Mm-hmm. What another question? I think lost my spot on what I was going to ask you. What about when you are interested in pitching your course to maybe a school or organization or maybe a conference? Do you have any advice about that?
Well, I pretty much host my own conferences, myself, I have hosted live events and retreats and things of that nature. I love doing live events. I really do. I like the connection, but it's still the whole part of people, oh, I had something else to do, there was a conflict, and, the expense of sometimes that you go into with live events can be great, especially if you, take it to that next level. Now, I know you can have events at public places and libraries, et cetera, but, just really making sure that you have an audience for that and making sure that your budget can withstand that with someone coming to your course and coming to your conference, and making sure that you have, making sure you have deposits and people actually going to participate, because that can be expensive and it can be overwhelming at times. So I love live events, but I'm trying to do both because I'm trying to reach a larger audience, because some people don't want to necessarily have to travel and actually get a ticket and actually put on clothes and come out of your pajamas. They want to be able to learn how they want to learn. And so, when people say, no, I don't want to come, but you have 40 people sign up for your webinar, you think, okay, well, this must be my audience, my sphere of influence, likes to receive information. So I love doing conferences. I really suggest that if you can partner with others so that you don't have to bear the load of all the budget and all the promotion and all the marketing that goes along with it, I really suggest that you do it that way, if you can, to partner with others and actually put that together so that it can help undergird the budget and especially the promotion issue, so that you can get it into wider audiences so you don't have to bear the load of all of it.
LaShonda, can you repeat the question one more time? I'm sorry.
I was asking, what advice do you offer to someone who's interested in pitching their course to a school or organization or maybe a conference?
What advice? I'm sorry, one more time. What advice would I for someone who's pitching, who wants to pitch to an organization?
You have a opportunity to offer your course to an organization or maybe a conference. How do you pitch them?
Oh, okay. So what I would do is, and this is something that I do quite often, is I research organizations that my message speaks to the most or best. Same with conferences. If there's a conference that I'm interested in going to and I actually want to be a speaker there, I want to teach a workshop there, I actually figure out, okay, is their conference or is their organization in line with the message that I bring? So that's the first thing I would say, is that make sure that your message is in alignment with the organization or with the conference that you're interested in. The second thing is I would create a press kit. That's something that I've done, and I don't know what they call it now, media kit, press kit, whatever. It's the same thing. So basically you have your one sheet about who you are, what you do, the topics that you specialize in, and what you do best. And if you want, you can put your rates for speaking or whatever the case may be. And also have like a couple of samples of the topic that you're going to speak on. And, when you go in and you set that meeting up, you say, this is my press kit. You'll see my bio. You'll see examples of some of the things that I've done and what I'm about, and then also have some testimonials ready, whether you have them on audio, whether you have them written out. Let them know these are the people that have been to my workshops or, been to my master classes or whatever the case may be, so that they can have something to go on. And then I would call, and I do this, call them up, send them an email. I call and send emails. Say, hi, my name is Takima, or whatever your name is. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I really love your organization. Speak back to them what their mission is and say, I love that your organization is about this. This is who I am. My mission is this, and I think it's in perfect alignment with your organization or with your conference. Do you have, for the conferences, are you looking for an extra workshop leader or a masterclass teacher, I'm interested in taking one of the slots for an organization. I would be interested in speaking to you about doing a workshop 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever weeks it is. I would say I would start off with like a 2-week run just to see how receptive it is for their organization, and then renegotiate with them. But get that initial meeting in with them so you can actually go in, sit down, give them your press kit and say, and have that conversation with them. They like to see you come prepared, and that's how I've gotten several of the opportunities that I have gotten. I actually had 2 organizations under the same umbrella fighting about who would get me first to come speak and do a workshop with them, which I thought was really funny. But when you present yourself in a way where you are sure of your topic, you know what you're talking about, and you know what you can offer them and serve them and how you can serve them, they will choose you because they see that you're serious, and they will also be willing and open to pay you. I know there was some nonprofit organizations that I've dealt with, they weren't able to pay me right away, but because they had me continually, they were able to give me a small stipend in the beginning. So, I would say that. Like I would say, definitely research your market, research who is in alignment with your message, and then reach out to them. The worst, this is what my motto is, the worst people can say is no or not respond. But if they don't respond because I didn't say anything, it's my fault, not theirs. So that's the advice I would give for that.
That was very good advice. Very good advice. Thank you.
No problem.
This is our last question. So what tip? No, I think I got another one. What did I do that? What tips do you have for promoting your courses?
Well, from promoting courses, for me, it's everything. Everything you have available in your hand, from face-to-face meeting to online social media, promoting through your list if you have one, and really speaking to your existing clients and finding out what they need, as well as Facebook ads and other areas to find new audiences who may have that same exact problem and need that your course is going to solve. So basically everything you have in your tool bag, every avenue that you can but easily financially do to make sure that happens, as well as promotion, radio, any media outlet that you can. Make sure that you're available to be able to do that, because sometimes your audiences that have bought from you before may have that same interest and buy from you again, but you always need to be on the lookout for new clients and new audiences to introduce to your content. So I utilize just all of it.
Thank you. That was some good advice. Did you have anything?
Very good advice. She got me taking notes because so to answer the question that LaShonda asked, I'm actually getting better. I have to say that this is an area that I'm really working on daily. It's a little bit of a challenge for me to promote a lot on Facebook. I've gotten a lot better. You can ask LaShonda. I have gotten a lot better because in the beginning, she used to always get on me. I don't see you promoting anything. So, and she's like, I know you got stuff. But I've gotten a lot better. So what I'm learning to do is to talk about my content from the perspective of what people will get from it, as opposed to just telling them about it, because people don't want to hear the heavy first. They definitely want to hear what is going to happen if I take this course. Like, what am I going to get after? So I'm learning that, when you promote on what your course after, for a live event or anything like that, people, you tell them what's about, you give them all the content, and that's what allows them to choose you. when you're promoting something online, this is what I found. People want to hear, because you're speaking directly to the audience. You're not going through an organization first or the conference facilitator first. So I'm learning how to speak to the result of what the clients want first in promoting and marketing, as opposed to just, here's what I'm doing, this is what I'm going to be doing, and this is how I'm going to be doing it, and this is what you're going to get. No, people want to hear what they're going to get at first. Then they want to hear what's involved, and then they want to know how much is the investment. So, I'm learning how to do that. And then cross-promoting is pretty simple for me now, because now I know how to speak on how to promote on Instagram and what's best for Facebook. So knowing how to promote on each of the platforms is something that I'm definitely learning how to do more of. So
yeah,
I hope that answers the question.
Each platform has its own audience. Each one has its own audience and how they do it. And I know people fuss about getting inboxed on Facebook, but that is the way they do it on LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn, they're all about inboxing you directly, and just reaching out to you, messaging you directly. So I'm like, I have to realize that that's the way they introduce themselves. It's getting more of a Facebook interface, but, Facebook, that's a turnoff to just inboxing me like, I don't know you. But LinkedIn, that's kind of the way they do it over there. They're big inboxes, but you're not on Instagram. You may comment or respond to somebody's picture, but now we're starting to do more messaging on Instagram. So, you just have to know kind of the lay of the land on what it does and what each social media outlet does and how it behaves. And hanging out there and watching and seeing how it behaves, then you learn even more.
Right.
That's true. I'm utilizing LinkedIn a lot, and that's how they do communicate with you. I kept getting a message from a guy saying hi. That's all he would say. I'm like, dude, can you give me something? But I realized he was waiting on me to respond back, and I was just like, you saying hi, I'm not going to respond back to hi. But that's the mentality of Facebook. Facebook is that way. They don't want you when you're in the inbox. And I had to realize that I was on LinkedIn, and it was different. So, I have to respond back. So you have to know the platforms that you're on and how the audience accepts different things. You can't get on Instagram without pictures. You got to have some pictures. I don't care how much you want to get on. If you don't have pictures, you're not going to get on there. So you have to know what the platforms are about. So that is so true. I do have one last question, and this is for the person who is trying to sell their course, but nobody is buying. They're getting crickets out there. What advice would you offer to them to get somebody interested in their course?
I'm going to let Julia take that one, because I think I might need to answer myself.
Well,
from an online perspective. Offline, I'm good. I am so good.
Yeah, no, live or online. I will have to say this. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it is the timing of everything. I'll just tell you a little story. 9.5 years, almost 10 years ago, when I first started out publishing and even publishing myself, and now in 2010 started publishing other people, there were some things that I offered 9.5 years ago that I did get crickets, that I did get nobody responded, and you have to keep going. You cannot stop. And I know you think, this is a waste of my time. It's not. Sometimes it is just now over time, because the statistics tell us that it takes between 12 to 15 times for someone to even see something. So if you put something out there once or twice, they may not even have seen it, especially algorithms in Facebook. So you cannot, put something out there once or twice and nobody bought it. Oh, well, it's a failure. You cannot think that. You have to realize it takes time. And then secondly, you have to establish yourself and continue to give free content sometimes, and to establish yourself as an expert, because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And it takes more time to get to know you than just one or two times. People saying good morning on Monday and then buy my $9.97 product on Wednesday is not enough time. It's like meeting a guy on the first date and then he asks you to marry him on the third date. No, I don't even know you. So opening up your wallet and actually swiping the credit card or putting the card number in takes time. You have got to establish yourself as the area, the industry, the message that you're trying to promote. People know me now as a publisher and an author, but I was a publisher and an author 10 years ago, but I hadn't developed myself with a reputation as I have now. I've written 40 books. I've published 60 people. It makes a difference. So, my number one thing is continue to be out there. Make yourself stand out and make yourself known as the person in that message, in that industry, on that topic or subject area. Be knowledgeable. Read. Do your research. Do your homework. Make sure that when people have a question in that area, that you're the first person they think of. You're one of the first people that they think of. Have you ever seen somebody put out a question, just a simple thing, I'm looking for a photographer in this area, and then you all of a sudden start seeing the comments underneath there. In my area of the country, I know those names because they have established themselves as a photographer, as a videographer, as a singer, as a songwriter, as an author. Once you start establishing yourself as a reputation for that, people will buy your course. If you show excellence in what you do, and over time, not only just social media, but of course live and in person, you establish yourself as having that expertise, you won't have any trouble selling that course. Sure, you have to consider the pricing of it, when you're having it, and the delivery of it, but somebody will buy it because they know you have that expertise. They know you know what you're talking about. And sometimes it's just time. Sometimes it's just having that reputation, those testimonials, that other person saying, oh, my God, class was so great tonight. Oh, my goodness, I learned so much. Thank you so much. And you start seeing your name tagged in certain areas along with certain things. It's not hard now. It was at first. And some things that I have, the content, that I went on Zoom and I had just another friend of mine on the other line and we pretended like there was a whole class. I still got that content and I'm rolling it right back out because I'm in a different area. I have a different reputation. I have 9.5 years of history and experience now. Now it's not necessarily the content is new. It's just people are being introduced to me now. Now I have established myself as an expert with knowledge, with the expertise, and a reputation of, she knows what she's talking about. So sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's being consistent in that and not saying, I'm going to be in this area, this message 1 week, and switching messages, and then you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what area you're in. But consistency and time, it's heart-wrenching. It is no fun taking all that time to establish a course and nobody sign up for it. I will tell you as someone who knows it, it is no fun. I didn't like it. I was disappointed, but I kept going, and I didn't stop. And I know it sounds very cliche and, keep going. Yuck. It's not putting any money or any dollars in my account. No, it's not right now, but it will in the long haul. It will the next time. Sometimes you have to have your books and speak for free to get a video and have somebody Facebook Live saying, oh, okay, now I know. It's just that people don't know. And when they know and they find out, they'll buy your course. They will. Sometimes it takes time. Just keep at it. Don't stop.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes. I mean, I don't think I don't have anything to add because, I've gotten some traction in some of the things that I'm doing, but you are so right. You have to know what it is that you do best, and you do it well, and you do it all the time. Okay, because that is how people really, really get to know you. They see you they see you saying the same thing in different ways, and they really get into you. That is how you are able to people will want to buy what you have. But if you just, like you said, if you say good morning on Monday and then you saying buy my stuff on Wednesday, people are like, okay, well, what?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely learning how to get better with that myself. And so what you said was like totally true. So yes.
Yeah, being consistent is something I've learned that the hard way, and I'm continuing. I tell my clients that you have to be consistent because everybody doesn't see you. I was talking to my sales coach, and I was telling her about I was putting the summit together, I'm putting it out there and everything, and she said, well, have you made time to promote it? And I'm like, I've been promoted for 2 weeks. So, well, I haven't seen any promotion, and I'm like, what? But just because you think you're putting it out there doesn't mean everybody is hitting everybody. So you always have to remember that it doesn't hit everybody, and you're always going to miss somebody. You have to consistently do. You can't promote Friday and then think everybody's going to see it all week Friday to the next Friday. It's an everyday process, and you ask for help for people to help you promote the stuff and put it out there. You send it to your newsletter, because I was guilty of that. I sent it to the newsletter on Monday, and that was it. And I'm like, well, it's crickets. Well, somebody might not never open it up, so you got to send it again. Send it 3 times a week versus 1 time a week. And they don't want to get the newsletter, they'll delete it. Don't get your feelings hurt. People want to hear from you. And sometimes people wait to the last minute. I get that a lot. They'll wait to the last minute, the day before the course or the day of the course, and they want to get in. Oh, I need to get in. I didn't get paid to Friday. So you have to take in consideration of those type of people, too, because there's a bunch of them that wait till Friday. Let me pay you on Friday.
Well, that's another thing to consider, too, with your courses, like, when is payday? Are you having your course close to paydays, or are you having it before payday? And people, you have to really consider the money issue. So if the 15th is on Friday and your course is the 13th, you're going to miss some people because they will get paid on Friday. But if your course is like the 18th, which might be a Tuesday or Wednesday, then they may then promote hard all the way through the weekend, and then make sure that you're promoting even on the day of, because people have their bills that they've done or whatever. So you have to think of your timing of when your course is going to be offered to as well. Is it close to a payday? Now, there are some people who have money. It doesn't matter. It could be the 1st. It could be the 22nd. It doesn't matter. And that's wonderful that you're blessed that way. But everybody is not blessed like that. They may have to wait to payday, and that's, that is something to really consider of the timing of it. Is it a major holiday? Having a course start on a major holiday weekend, July 4th, Labor Day, and all that. You have to consider those types of things and the risk that you run with having a course around holidays. Because people, they want chicken wings and ribs, They may choose that over your course. So, that's always things to consider as well.
Yes, you definitely. I have learned about holidays, and I've learned about when people go to big conferences. Make sure your stuff is not on that big conference day if you're trying to get people to come to your course.
Exactly.
That's something to consider. Well, ladies, I have really enjoyed this. I can't wait to sit down and listen to this again and get my notes right, because I learned a lot as a person who hosts courses and the person who puts courses together. I'm doing a lot of things wrong, so I'm going to update myself. But this was very helpful, and I hope for our listeners it's very helpful for them, too. Is there anything that you want to tell us about what's coming up with you next in your courses, or maybe your books or writing or events?
Well, I am offering 2 courses right now. My first one is for authors who want to be school speakers. So you can reach out to me. I'm on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere you want to be. But the link directly to find out more information with that is bit.ly/Royston School Speaker. That's Royston School Speaker. And then the next course that I'm offering as well is write it in a weekend. I know some people have a lot of problem with time. When am I going to write it? When am I going to write this book? How am I going to find time to actually write this book? So feel free to reach out to me, www.juliaroystonenterprises.com or bkroystonpublishing.com for more information on Write with Royston, Write It in a Weekend. So that's what's coming up next, as well as all my other courses and books coming out as well for my authors. So check us out and feel free to follow us on all social media, and we'll have plenty coming out in the summer and the fall. I'm excited about all the events coming up and everything going on with my authors and my business. Thank you so much, LaShonda, for this opportunity. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Takima?
Yes. So that sounds really good, Julia. So for me, I have a major thing happening. So July 27th, I am rolling out my first online writing program that will teach people how to not only write their book from start to finish, but also turning it into a workshop and a workbook. So that's called Your Brave Story, Books and Blogs to Booked. So I will be doing that. That's going to be an 8-week course where I'll be teaching you how to develop the content for your book, how to outline, putting together a writing schedule with you, also helping you to create your book cover, referring you to editors, because that is something I don't personally do, but I have some amazing editors that I know of that are on board to help you with that process. After your book is written, I will be helping participants to turn their books actually into a workbook like I just spoke about tonight. I will be helping them to choose the content, the best content for their workbook, helping them to put that together, as well as helping them to create their first workshop, whether they'll do it online or in person. And if they do it offline, I will be teaching them the skills and strategies on how to pitch that workshop to whatever organization they decide to go with. So they'll be getting all of that. So if you want more information about Your Brave Story, blogs and books to booked, books and blogs to booked, you can contact me at, you can set up a conversation with me at bit.ly/conversations, capital C, conversations with capital W, and then the rest lowercase, Takima, capital Takima. So that's bit.ly, conversations with Takima. So that is what I got. So that's what I have going on. So I only can focus on one thing at a time. Oh, I forgot. How could I forget about this? My annual Brave Speaks conference is happening September 22nd and 23rd of this year. So I'll be posting more details about that tomorrow. So that's what I have coming up, and that's going to be in New York City.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, ladies, for being part of the SORMAG Writer Cafe. I appreciate you coming in and sharing with us tonight. I would like to thank our sponsor for this episode, SORMAG Digital. Don't forget to download the summer issue. Link in the show notes. I want to thank our listeners for taking time to listen to the podcast. Please feel free to write a review and let me know what you think of this episode. If you have a topic you wanted to discuss on the cafe, or you would like to be a sponsor of an episode, send it to onesormag@gmail.com. This is LaShonda Hoffman, and I will see you on the next.